Hey guys, what's going on? Today we're going to talk about the Ghoti deck. And, I've talked about this deck a little bit on the channel already. Put out like an intro video and then a couple deck profiles, both the pure version and the runic version. But honestly, I haven't been too happy with those. And I don't like how the deck is playing. The pure, it's too boring, man. It's like summon your tuner, special summon a level 4, and, synchro into Orion Post puts me to sleep, to be honest. And it's weak to just a single imperm, kind of really tough in terms of resilience. So not too hot on that. And then runic, it's just not my style, man. Like I just don't want to play runic decks really. So when it comes to Ghoti, like I've tried to come up with a third variant that kind of fits what I like to see and I think solves some of the problems both in terms of kind of fun and also consistency a little bit. What Ghoti really lacks, in my opinion, is a one card starter, right? It just has a whole bunch of combo pieces, whole bunch of engine requirements, but no real way to get them into rotation, within engine, which is a real pain in the ass, to be honest. So I kind of racked my brains a bit for what we could use as a starter for this deck, as a one card starter, because really everything else is just two card level 6 synchro climb. We have Tuner plus Silent Angler. We have Supe plus a discard. We have a tuner plus a runic spell, or a tuner plus an instant fusion, and all that kind of thing. And like in a world in a format where it's all one card combo and like 20 hand traps, you're gonna get cooked. So pretty much I've tried to attack that issue today with this new build that I have seen this kind of strategy a little bit. I did a little bit of research, but honestly I built this from scratch and then I looked at what other people had come up with after. So hopefully this will give you an unbiased take on what I think will at least is in a step in the right direction to solving the Ghoti deck. Also, I just want to address I haven't posted in a little bit because I was on vacation. I went to Tokyo, Japan, which was incredible. It was my third time in Japan in my life. So, but like I went with a group of friends. It was fantastic. I bought this hat, which has the Pokemon starters on it. So can't complain, even if it's just for that. And then I also bought a whole bunch of Yu-Gi-Oh stuff, which I'll show probably in a different video. But back to the Ghoti stuff. Let's go ahead and jump on in to the theory. And this is going to be a little longer video because I want to show the theory first and then show the deck profile and show how the cards that I've put in this deck kind of work towards achieving what we're trying to go for here, okay? So, and then I might do some test hands. I'm going to talk about cards that I tried but decided to cut in the end, and that kind of thing. Okay, so as I was talking about before, Ghoti's real issue, in my opinion, is a lack of one card starter. I think I found one, and we're going to go through it. This is a classic deck, an archetype that we haven't seen in a long time, but if you look at it, it's one card to start, and that will get you into your level 6 synchro, which will be, of course, Orion Post. There we go. So how do we get to this with one card? We're going to be using cards from 2013, and that is through the Atlantean engine. Okay, so we have Neptibus, the Atlantean Prince, which on summon will allow, or not on summon, well, you can activate the effect to send an Atlantean from your deck to the grave, to search an Atlantean from your deck to your hand. So the essence of this whole deck is really based around Neptibus activating effect to send a copy of Atlantean Dragoons, to add a copy of Atlantean Dragoons, and then the Dragoons that you sent, because it was sent for cost, will be able to search a Sea Serpent, and we're going to search a Lapis Dragon, which has an effect when it's added to your hand, can special summon itself, and there we go, a level 1 and a level 5 tuner equals our copy of Orion Post. So that's really what the whole deck is kind of revolved around, and yeah, okay, we have 3 copies of Neptibus. That's not too consistent for a one-card starter. Well, don't worry. We also have Deep Sea Diva, which is the classic way to get into Neptibus in the old Mermail Atlantean days. So we have Diva, and then we also have a copy of 1-for-1, and then we have consistency stuff like Prosperity. Okay, so when watching this kind of profile or deck idea, keep in mind that we do have several ways to get into what the combo is all based around. Okay, so now that we know, okay, Neptibus, send Dragoons, add Dragoons, summon Lapis, and then go into Orion Post, we know all of that. What can we kind of beef this deck up with? What are the rest of the pieces? Because just for that strategy, we're going to be looking at, 3 copies of Neptibus. Where the heck did I put all my cards? 3 copies of Neptibus as an engine requirement. And then we have 3 copies of Diva as more starters. So we have 6 normal summon starters. We're going to have 3 copies of Dragoons and 1 Lapis Dragon. And this is our essentially Atlantean engine. What else do we need? What else can we fill the deck with? What can we provide for resiliency? Well, let's take a look at Neptibus and Diva, because honestly, they are hand trap magnets. The nice thing about Neptibus specifically is when you go Neptibus, send Dragoons for cost. If they Imperm or Ash or Valor your Neptibus, the Dragoons you've sent for cost will still activate and resolve summoning out the Lapis. So this is actually kind of a nice resilient piece, or a nice resilient normal summon for your starter. Okay, if your opponent knows what they're doing, if they have Ash Blossom, they're going to Ash this Dragoon search. They're not going to Ash the Neptibus. Let me zoom in a little bit here. So, and if they don't know what they're doing and they try to hand trap the Neptibus, you're still going to resolve. But okay, we can't count on our opponent not knowing what's going on. The nice thing is, it is invulnerable to Imperm and Valor on your Neptibus. But if they have Imperm and Valor, they'll probably just hold it for Orion Post. But they'll have no idea that you're playing Ghoti if you normal summon Neptibus and go effect, right? So we'll see if we can bait that out or something. But anyways, here's our 10 starters, or our 10 card essentially Atlantean engine. Let's look at what happens if our opponent has hand traps, because that's the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, yeah, normal summon Diva can go into a million things. Why is it cool here? Why am I not so worried about hand traps? Well, that's because in the rest of the deck, we're also going to be playing some cards that will help us get through those hand traps. So starting off with our Ready and Instant Fusion package. If you haven't played Ghoti before, you know that these are really good because they provide a level 4 fish non-tuner, which combined with your level 2 Ghoti tuners, and that's Orion Post, right? But the sweet thing about Ready Fusion and Instant Fusion with Neptibus and Diva is if either of these get stopped, or if your Dragoons search Lapis gets stopped, Ready Fusion plus either Neptibus or Deep Sea Diva is still level 6 Synchro, and that's because we have Rare Fish and Sea Monster of Theseus. If we have Neptibus alone on the field, we can summon Theseus, a level 5 tuner. Or if we have Diva that gets stopped, let's say they Imparm our Diva, very reasonable, we have Ready Fusion for Rare Fish, Diva is a tuner, we still have level 6 Synchro. So it's a really sweet that Ready Fusion and Instant Fusion save whichever normal summon you go with. Even though they're different levels, we have options for both levels that exactly match the tuner, non-tuner, and level thing that we need to get into Orion Post. So that's pretty sweet. On top of that, we're also going to be playing the 3 copies of Crossout Designator, which is also very common in Ghoti decks. If you're here for the Mermails, not here for the Ghotis, Crossout is excellent in Ghoti. It's actually engine because you can Crossout, call one of your Ghoti tuners, and it will come back on the next turn. It doesn't matter how it gets banished, so Crossout will still do the trick. So we have essentially 6 cards to play through hand traps on your Neptibus or Diva, and Diva is even nicer because we have cards. Any level 4 water extender is going to do the trick as well, so we are going to be playing some Silent Anglers here to be able to extend. It will only work for Diva, it won't work for Neptibus, so but we'll take what we can get, right? So we're going to go ahead and go with that, and I already mentioned the 1-for-1 is another way to summon Neptibus. So we have 7 starters, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards to play through hand traps on that starter, which is kind of nice. Like, as far as Ghoti goes, pretty good. Like, the normal Ghoti deck does not have this kind of 1-card starter plus a ton of resiliency. So let's at least take that for what we can, you know, take what we can get with that, right? And then we have 3 prosperities just to get to those starters, or if we already have a starter, we can dig for one of these extenders if we get hand trapped, right? So even if you have a starter, you might prosperity try to dig for a crossout. If you don't have like a ready fusion or silent angler, we might just dig for that crossout. And hey, if we get drilled on that prosperity, well, hey, we got crossout already, so we can just burn the crossout there and just hope they don't have a second hand trap. But alas, okay. So now that we've kind of gone through the theory of why the mermail stuff is kind of good, let's talk about the rest of the cards that we're filling the deck up with. And I'm essentially just going to reset here and give the whole deck profile in a normal order, right? So starting off with our Atlantean package, we have the 3 Neptibus, 3 Diva, 3 Dragoons, and 1 Lapis Dragon. That's our first 10 cards, and we can just chuck the 1-for-1 on top of that. And these are kind of our starters, our engine requirements, etc. You get it. Now on to the other water cards. So we already showed the 2 Silent Anglers. Good for 2 reasons. It's a fish, which this build has a particular issue with. All these water cards are not fishes, which is a bit of an issue when you're trying to go for your Seeks combo, your full double, double Deep Beyond combo. You need to start with a fish, particularly one of your tuner fishes, unfortunately. So, at least having Angler will get you into like a 1 Deep Beyond setup, but you kind of need to open fishes, and it might be a little bit of an issue. The next 2 cards I'm running are 2 copies of Ice Jade Ran Agrin. This is your level 7 target where you can just discard a water to summon this and a level 3 token. Now, let me talk about Abyss right now. Really quick. I set out my copies somewhere. I was between this and Abyss, and Abyss essentially does the same thing. You discard a water to summon it, and a Tias will get you a search. Agrin will summon a level 3 token that you can use to make a level 10 synchro. So I was back and forth. I was like, which one is more valuable? Would I rather have the level 10 synchro, or would I rather have the search? And the reason the search is like tempting is because it searches a fish. Your Abyss Pike is a fish, Abyss Turge is a fish, and sometimes you need a fish to get your combo going. So Tias kind of combos a little bit better with your combo, but Agrin I like better still because if your combo gets stopped, Agrin is at least, it puts up an interruption. You can summon the Ice Jade Synchro, you can summon Shen Ying. Whereas Tias, if your combo gets stopped, this Abyss Pike is going to do nothing for you. So that's why I went for the Agrin instead as my level 7 discard of choice. The reason we're playing this at all is because if you open your Ghoti cards, they're essentially useless in your hand. Like, they might as well be in your graveyard. So if we can get some kind of use out of them, cool. So we have Agrin to do that. Also, our Neptibus combo is going to send a Dragoons and search a Dragoons. So it would be nice to have something else in our hand to discard that searched Dragoons with so that we can get more value. And that's where the Agrin also comes in. So it's kind of double use. It gets rid of the dead water cards in our hand, and it gives us a way to use Dragoons as well. Okay? Sweet. All right, on to our next water cards. 1 copy of Deep Sea Minstrel and 1 copy of Abyss Megalo. So essentially, like we said, like we talked about, our combo is going to go Neptibus, send Dragoons, add Dragoons. That first Dragoons doesn't necessarily have to search Lapis, okay? Even though we want to get to our level 6 play, we can use our second Dragoons to search Lapis. So our first Dragoons can search some other way to discard the second Dragoons, and we want an option for discarding 1 water or discarding 2 waters. And sometimes the Megalo is going to come in clutch for the extra body. Sometimes Minstrel is going to come in clutch if you're fearing hand traps. And I like to have both options in this deck. So we'll show some test hands, and I'll show you guys what I mean a little bit between, you might want to search Minstrel, you might want to search Megalo here. Okay, now let's look at the rest of our water cards. I have too many piles of cards, so I want to make sure I'm not mixing up my ideas with my actual deck here. But, okay, let's go on to the rest of the water cards. Obviously, what's missing? The Ghoti stuff, right? If you look at a full Ghoti combo, you only use each Ghoti card once, and therefore I'm trying to play the minimum Ghoti lineup. 1 Seeks, 1 Snopios. You need both level 6s for your double Deep Beyond, and then 1 of each tuner. 1 Shift, 1 Zep, 1 Paces. And Honestly, these cards are total bricks. Like, they are engine requirements only. If you look at it in this kind of deck list, like, we don't really want to see them. If we want to see something, it's either shift or paces because we want to discard them. Like, for no other reason do we want to see these cards. But you got to play all 5 if you want to do the double Deep Beyond combo, which is, if you're unfamiliar, summoning Ghoti of the Deep Beyond twice on your opponent's turn for a double full board banish, which is incredible, which is totally doable with Ghoti, and this is the reason you would actually play this in Mermail, is if you wanted to try to pull that off, right? So, yeah, that kind of wraps up our Ghoti lineup, and that kind of thing. Now let's move on to the support cards. We've already seen all of the spell ones. We have 3 crossout, 2 ready and 1 instant. You know, there's no reason to play 3 ready. You might as well play 2 and 1, because if you draw both at the same time, you can actually use them both. And then 3 Prosby. So this is our like consistency / extenders lineup of spells. And now the rest of our list is going to be hand traps. And we're playing a lot, not only because we kind of need to have any chance whatsoever competing with Snake Eye, but also we're playing crossout. So, you know, even if the format shifts away from a hand trap format, because we're already playing crossout as kind of like engine, you might as well still play hand traps. And maybe we can cut down on the number of hand traps if the requirement, like if the meta requirement goes down. But for now, we're playing a lot. So we're going to be on 3 imperms, 3 copies of Nib. So these 2 are the most powerful hand traps in the format right now. That's why these ratios are here. But yeah, bear with me here. Only 2 Ashes, just for space. 2 Veilers, 1 Mourner, and 1 Droll. So we do need to play each of these just for crossout targets, honestly. Playing 3 of the best ones, and then 2 Ash, 2 Veiler, 1 Mourner, 1 Droll is kind of like a solid wrap-up of a hand trap lineup. So in total, we're playing 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 hand traps. If you want to play a different lineup, you go ahead. Pick whatever lineup you want, but the reason we're on this number is, 1, to keep the deck space down. Like, we're already, this is at like 42 cards or something like that. But also we want to play 1 copy of at least each hand trap that will affect this deck. I'm not playing a Bell because Bell doesn't really do anything to this deck. It won't, well, it's not bad, but like, it's like the 7th best hand trap against you, right? So I'd rather play DD Crow, honestly. But yeah, this is going to be our main deck lineup. Let me talk through a few main deck cards that I considered and decided not to play. So obviously I already talked about Teus and Pike. Not going to be in there. Lifeless Leaffish. This is a classic pure Ghoti card, but we have our normal summon of choice. We don't need any more. Abyss Shark. I only have a printed out proxy. I don't own it. Thought about it. But if you're under Droll, if you get Drolled, Abyss Shark is dead because the search is required. So you can't just summon the Abyss Shark. You have to summon and search, and therefore Droll shuts off Abyss Shark, which is terrible. Also, it loses to Ash. I'd rather just play more like level 4 extenders, Silent Angler, or Mini Iruka, or something like that. But yeah, I don't... Abyss Shark just really wasn't worth it to me. The card that I want to work so bad, but just doesn't work in this deck is Deep Sea Aria. Like, in theory, on paper, this card is incredible. Has synergy. You're going to search one of your starters and banish a water from your graveyard. Like, if you can set up a Ghoti in your graveyard, you can go Deep Sea Aria, banish that Ghoti, which is awesome, and then search a starter. The problem is, like, how do you get waters in the grave before using your starters? Like, you cannot use your normal summon. So that means you kind of have to overload on stuff like Ran Agrin or Minstrel, Megalo, Teus, and we're just not playing enough of that. We're never going to get cards into our graveyard, water cards into our graveyard, without normal summoning in this particular build. If there was a way to do it, I would love to, but frankly, Aria just is not going to work. But if you figure out a way, please let me know. I would love for this card to be applicable in this particular build, right? Okay, so that wraps up the main deck. Now let's talk about the extra deck. Is there anything else I wanted to talk over? There's cards like Mulan Glacia. They're a little bit win more. Like, obviously, it's an incredible card making your opponent discard 2, but, you know, going second, it's a brick. And, you know, I might side it. I might honestly side the card for going first because you're going to have to use 2 Dragoon searches. One is going to be for Lapis. The other one might as well be for Moulin, if you can actually resolve that, you're going to probably have a pretty good chance of winning. So, okay, let me go through the extra deck now because it will reveal a few more cool synergies that we have with this particular deck and build. Also, if you guys are enjoying, please subscribe to the channel. Trying to grow the channel would be awesome. I really appreciate it. Okay, so the first two cards I already showed you guys are the fusion targets for instant and ready. That's Sea Monster of Theseus and Rare Fish. Either fusion card can summon either of these, which is really nice because they're both non-effect monsters and they're the perfect level and tuner status. So yeah. The next two cards are going to be our Exceed cards, and the only two we need to play are Bahamut and Toad. And the cool thing about Bahamut Toad, like if you're not familiar with Mermail, or you know you haven't played it in a while, or I mean I should call this Atlantean because it's really Atlantean cards, and I'm playing literally one Mermail card, which is Megalo. But anyway, if you're not familiar, you need to know that Dragoons plus any level 4, it could be Rare Fish. When you overlay these for Bahamut Shark and you detach the Dragoons will get effect because it's going to the graveyard to activate a water monster's effect. So it's a very important piece to know. Sometimes you just don't open Diva or you don't open Neptibus. All you have is like Dragoons plus instant fusion. This will at least get you Bahamut Shark Toad plus Dragoon Search for either a starter for next turn, or like if Megalo will do something for you. That's cool, but yeah, just you need to know that interaction, right? So yeah, that's 4 cards in the extra, the 2 fusions and the 2 Exceed monsters. Let me pile those up. Now let's talk about the links. Pretty small link package. We're playing the almost obligatory IPSP just because you can make it. You actually aren't waterlocked, I don't believe, by any of these cards, right? So that's another reason not to play a Bishark, is because I want the IPSP access. So yeah, I don't like being waterlocked, and if I recall correctly, none of these cards waterlock me. Ran Agrin waterlocks you as long as the token is out, but once you synchro these off, you're not waterlocked anymore, so you still do have that kind of interaction. And then our last 2 water cards are going to be 1 Coral Anemone and 1 Zealantis. So the nice thing is Coral Anemone will waterlock you, which means when you go into Zealantis and clear the board, you can't summon your opponent's monsters back because they're probably not water, right? So you get the same synergy that we get in Marincess, like the pure Marincess deck that takes advantage of Zealantis. So that's a pretty cool interaction, and I think these 2 cards are worth playing. Plus, Coral Anemone can summon back things like Lapis Dragon. So if you, for some reason, are able to summon out your, your Neptibus, and you can go into Anemone to summon back the Lapis, then we can get into Arion Post that way. We can also summon out the Ghoti tuners, or the Ghoti. I think most of the Ghoti cards actually are probably under 1500 attack. Checking Snopios. Never mind, that's a lie. So yeah, you can summon out all the Ghoti tuners with Coral Anemone. So if there's a need to get that back on the field to use it for synchro material, that's pretty cool. But otherwise, yeah, most of our extra deck space is going to be dedicated to the synchro pile. So let's go ahead and chuck these here. That's 8 cards, and now we have 7 spots left for our synchros. Let me go through these in the proper order. So just 1 copy of Arion Post. Realistically, you saw the size of the Ghoti engine that we're playing in this deck, so you're only going to ever get to this once, and if you don't get to it, then you got to rely on the rest of your water cards to win the game, honestly. So after the Arion Post, we have our level 8s, which is going to be 1 copy of Oscon, which is critical for the combo and also is just a solid card. It's a generic level 8, which is nice. And then we have 1 White Aura Whale, which is another option. Sometimes all you can get into is a level 8 synchro with your Ghoti stuff if you don't open any fishes. So having the option of Oscon or White Aura Whale is going to be kind of nice. And then our level 10s, we have Double Deep Beyond because the combo is possible in this deck. And then we also have 1 Shengying and 1 Ice Jade Gamir Agrin. The flexibility in this extra deck comes from one of these 2 cards. You could probably pick to cut one, but I'm playing them both. You summon these not via your well, you could summon them via your Ghoti stuff, but realistically, your Ran Agrin is the way to get into them. If you open Ran Agrin, you just automatically end with one of these on your end board, which is kind of nice. And these cards are both very good. So I do want to play both of them, have the option to go into whichever one looks better. Okay, so that wraps up the extra deck. Now, if you guys are still here, I appreciate it. I'm going to go through, try to do a test hand or two, and kind of just see how this deck plays out. Okay, so we're shuffling up this deck for a good long time since I had it sorted for the profile, but in each test hand, we're going to check for two things, right? We're going to check for, do we have combo at all? And number two, do we have combo through a hand trap? Because realistically, any combo deck that relies on Deep Sea Diva resolving is going to have enough resilience to play through a hand trap, so we're going to have to see what kind of resilience we can come up with in this particular deck. Okay, shuffled up, let's roll. Draw for turn, Silent Angler, Pot of Prosperity, Crossout, Diva, Snopios. Okay, that's a really solid hand going first. Going second, we're absolutely cooked. We have no hand traps, but we might be able to play through it. Let's say if we were going second, our sixth card is another Prosby, which is absolutely useless. But anyway, luckily we're playing going first. So let's go ahead and normal summon our Deep Sea Diva here. And if we get hand trapped, boom, cross out. We're ready to roll. But if we didn't have cross out, we still have Angler, which is super clutch. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead and use Diva effect here. For simplicity, well, actually, maybe we should Prosperity first. But then if we get Drolled, we still have cross out, so that's nice. Yeah, let's go ahead and Prosperity first. We're going to banish 6. Just pretend I banished 6. I'm not really trying to think about what I want to banish. Okay, so Prosperity, Imperm, Diva, Megalo, cross out, and Ready Fusion. So in this particular case, trying to think of what will actually help us out the most here. I think it's going to be Ready Fusion, to be honest. Either Ready Fusion to try to get into Toad, or we're going to go for the Imperm just for an interruption. I'm going to grab the Ready Fusion for fun to see what this hand can do. Okay, so we have Prosby used. Now let's go ahead and normal summon Diva effect, and we're just going to play no hand trap Yu-Gi-Oh! And you guys know that we have 1, 2, 3 cards to play through hand traps already, so hopefully we can just play and you guys can roll with it. Okay, so we're going to summon Neptibus. We're going to use Neptibus effect now to send a Dragoons for cost, to add a Dragoons to our hand, and this first Dragoons that we send for cost, we got to think what we want to do with it. Do we want to search Lapis Dragon? Maybe not, because we have already a way to get into a level 6 Synchro. We have a Dragoons in hand we need to use. So our two options here are going to be either the Megalo, or actually we have 3 options. We have Minstrel, Megalo, or a Neptibus. There's really no reason to search another Neptibus because we need a way to discard it for effect. So let's go ahead and search here. Okay, so if we take Megalo, we're going to be discarding Dragoons and probably Snopios, which could be fine. And then we have Minstrel. If we want to play it safe, obviously we just go Minstrel Dragoons to try to steal a hand trap out of our opponent's hand. But yeah, let's just go for Megalo for fun, okay? Because we already have enough ways to play through hand traps. Okay, so we search Megalo here. Now we can activate Megalo, discarding our other Dragoons and our Snopios here. And that will allow us to search with our second Dragoons. Now, note, we're not playing any of the equip cards to play with Megalo. I think it's not good enough. We're not reliably ending on a Mermail card because we're probably going to link this Megalo off. And we're not playing the Mermail Link monster. If we draw the equip card without Megalo, it's completely dead, so it's just a brick and we're not going to play it. Anyway, we're going to use that second Dragoons now to search for... let me see. Our options are, again, Lapis Dragon, Neptibus again, or the other copy of, the copy of the Minstrel. I think now we're just going to go for Lapis Dragon and keep it simple. And now we can go ahead and special summon that Lapis Dragon off of its effect. Okay, now we're at 4 summons. Oh boy, what about Nibiru? Maybe we've already used this cross out to protect our Diva. Okay, so our options here, we have a little bit of an anti-nib option, and it's not great. It's not totally anti-nib. We're not going to be able to combo, but we won't just end with 0. Is we can go ahead and link off our Megalo and Diva for an SP. Okay, and what this essentially does is it allows us to now, if we get nibbed here on 5th summon, we can SP banish itself and one of our monsters, and that will allow us to actually have an SP on our end board in the end phase. What it also does, which is kind of nice, is now if we synchro off the Neptibus and Lapis Dragon, say our opponent's been holding Imperm this whole time, when we go into Arianpos and go Arianpos effect on summon to banish a fish, now we can dodge an Imperm or Veiler or Mourner with an SP. So it's like the prime setup that we're going for, honestly. Like, through Nib, it at least lets us end on an SP. And without Nib, through like Imperm on Arianpos, we can at least dodge the Imperm with SP. Just like how Rescue Ace does this, they set up SP before they summon out their Turbulence and use Turbulence effect so they can dodge it. We are doing a similar thing here. So it's just an interesting way to play. The other option is to essentially, I don't know, I think this is honestly the best option. I don't think there's a better option with those 4 monsters we had on board, which were Lapis, Neptibus, Megalo, and Diva. But, you could go just Lapis. You can go for Arianpos first and then use these for, I don't know, you can go into Coral Anemone, Coral bring one back. You're really not getting into anything. I guess the other alternative is to, if you don't care about Nibiru, maybe we've used Minstrel. Instead of this SP, we can go for IP. And then that's an additional interruption on our opponent's turn. We can use IP plus one of our fishes, like one of our Ghoti cards at least. So that is an option, if you're not as worried about Nib. But anyway, yeah, we have SP Arianpos now. Let me resume the combo. Arianpos effect is going to, let's see, what do we banish here? We can banish Seeks, I guess, right? Banish Seeks. And then Seeks effect, summon itself out by banishing Snopios if we want, or we can do it by banishing Angler. Honestly, it depends how much you care about Nib, but what we could actually do is go Ready Fusion, summon out Rare Fish, Silent Angler. We can go Angler plus Rare Fish into Bahamut Toad. I guess we could have done that early on. We could have done that to start to absolutely play around Nib. But anyway, yeah, let's go ahead. Ignore it. I'm just rambling. I'm just trying to theory craft a little bit here. It's kind of a complicated deck. But we can go Seeks, Seeks by banishing Snopios. Snopios could theoretically add itself back by banishing the Silent Angler, right? No, the Silent Angler would have to be in the grave. So we probably could have played this better where we could actually add the Snopios back, but let's say we can't. We're just going to add and banish the Shift with the Seeks. And now that's pretty much our end board. And we have Shift coming back. Obviously, that's not our total end board. We still have Ready Fusion plus Angler to go into Bahamut Toad, which is cool, I guess, right? So it's something. And then if we've never used this cross out, we could go cross out for the other tuner, which is Paces. And then we'll have double tuner actually on our opponent's turn. So kind of neat. It's got options. As you can see, it was quite a complicated opening hand. Even though we did resolve full combo, like with all the extenders, we can actually go into some neat stuff. Let's just do one more test hand. Neptibus, Lapis Dragon. Oh, that's tough. Deep Sea Diva, Ran Agrin. Okay, well, one of the really annoying parts of playing this deck is drawing your Lapis Dragon. So, luckily, we have a way to discard it, which will come up later. But obviously, with this deck, we have, or with this hand, we have basically no way to play through any hand traps whatsoever. Besides Ran Agrin just being able to put up a level 10 synchro at the end of everything. But anyway, let's go ahead and Diva. We're just going to go for as much combo as we can, assuming no hand traps, just for fun. Because this end board might actually be kind of nuts. But we'll see. Diva, summon Neptibus, Neptibus effect, send Dragoons, search Dragoons, awesome. Dragoons effect, search Megalo. Oh boy. Sweet. Okay, so now we have Megalo Search. Now we have two cards that get effects off of Megalo Discard, which is pretty cool. We can go Megalo... Yep. Megalo... Discard Dragoons and Neptibus. And now we can go Neptibus summon back our Dragoons. And that's level 6 Synchro access, by the way. And then the Dragoons will search us a copy of... I don't actually know. Minstrel? Another Neptibus for follow-up. Those are our options. So, I mean, also a Diva for follow-up, I suppose, is perfectly legit. It would be nice to get a second level 4 on board. I don't think it's possible, though. Let's go ahead and, just to speed things along, we'll just search another Diva. Or no, we already have a Diva for follow-up. Jeez, I'm not paying attention. Dragoons can search a Minstrel. There we go. Why not? Neato. Alright, so now we do have Arion Post access. We have level 6 with Diva plus Dragoons. Not ideal. I'd rather use this Lapis Dragon in hand. So what we can honestly do, I just want to test this out. I don't really know if this is actually a good idea, but we're going to go ahead. Nope, not those. Not those. We're going to synchro. Link. Oh boy. Oh boy, I messed up my zones. Let's pretend this zone is over here. Anyway, we're going to link into the Coral. Do that first. Now we can go Ran Agrin, discard Lapis to summon Agrin and a token. Here's my token, and now we can go ahead and synchro these bad boys into a level 10. Let's just pop out a copy of Ice Jade Gamir Agrin for funsies, and now we can go Coral Anemone. Summon out the Lapis Dragon, and now we can go Lapis plus Neptibus into Arion Post. Why did we do this instead of just going straight into Arion Post? No idea. Just wanted to try it out. You know what I mean? So anyway, yeah. Now we could Minstrel dump Diva first, but yeah, we'll just go Arion Post. This is a little tough. We're short on fishes. I don't think we opened any fishes, just Sea Serpents and Aqua. So Arion Post is simply going to have to dump a tuner. Banish a tuner from deck. We can just get rid of the paces here. There we go. And then pass turn, standby phase, paces comes back. Like, is this better than the SP line? Absolutely not. I just wanted to see what would happen. And to show that there actually is a way to summon back out your Lapis Dragon, and that's with Coral Anemone. So just an interesting idea. I'm going to wrap it up there. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys innovate off this. This is not solved. I did put several weeks into testing this, testing different variants, testing different cards that might work well. I read every single fish card in the database, every single sea serpent in the database, every mermail, every Atlantean. This is what I came up with. So hopefully you guys can come up with something better, because I would be really excited to see what to do. Oh, also I tested all the white fishes, white sardine. I didn't test them. I read them and decided that it's too much to fit in with the Atlantean deck. Like, if you want to play the white fish package, just play that with a more pure version of Ghoti. Don't play with Atlanteans, but you can try it. Let me know how to do in the comments. We'll catch you guys later. See you later.